So we want to talk about the command line installation. And first off, we want to consider why. Why do we care about a command line installation? You previously should have already started a graphical user interface version of Linux. And so in this one, we're going to install one that doesn't have a graphical user interface. And the reason we would do that is because in many instances, you do not need a graphical user interface. You can do everything remotely via SSH, and graphical user interface is going to add a lot more bloat, a lot more stuff to your installation that you don't necessarily need. And so a lot of times it's overkill, and you can do things just fine with a headless or command line install of Linux. The differences that you'll see is mainly the packages that are installed again. So there's a lot of packages that aren't installed on a headless installation. And obviously you won't have a graphical user interface to work with. You won't use your mouse. You'll just use commands at the command line. And as I said, you'll access this via SSH. Now, one of the main things we need to be concerned about with a command line instance is network settings, because in a graphical user interface, you would go click on some icon and input your network settings, and on the command line interface, you cannot do that. So, as a brief review, in your network settings, you have to have an IP address. Traditionally that IP address is assigned via DHCP. It's automatically assigned to the client, or you're going to statically assign it. And in our class, we're always going to statically assign. And in an advanced class, you might do some automatic assignment using DHCP. So static means we're going to manually assign that IPv4 address. You also need to consider the net mask, which is another series of bits that are going to define what network your client, your operating system is in. That net mask is usually in the form 255.255.something.something, but it definitely could vary depending on the size of your network. And that will be given to you during the course. The gateway is the first router that your client needs to contact in order to get out to the internet, and DNS are the domain name servers that your client will use when you type in a fully qualified domain name such as www.google.com. It will resolve to an IP address, which is what a client needs in order to contact the internet. Okay, so the file that we're going to go edit potentially is going to be in the Etsy NetPlan directory. So let's just flip over there and see that. So if I cd to Etsy NetPlan, and if I look at this file here, and yours might not be named exactly the same. Mine is 01.netconfig.yaml, but it just whatever file is in there. So you can see here is where I would identify my IP address. Here's where I would identify the gateway. And this is actually the subnet mask in CIDR notation. Beyond the scope of this class to describe what all these network settings are, but you do need to get set up and configured correctly in order to access the internet. And in the course, I will tell you, or you will be told by your instructor, what CIDR notation you should use. The gateway, there's that first router that we need to go to get out to the internet. And yours is going to be different. Everyone's going to be different here. The gateway is going to be different. Your IP address is going to be different. Probably all of us will have the same number here, which might be different than the one shown in the video. And then these are pretty much my domain name servers that we're going to contact to ask for domain name queries. And everyone's going to use the same. You can use those entries down here as well. This file should already exist, but it probably won't have the correct information in it. Indentation is very important. The next command to look at our IP address, we can do IP space A. Should be very comfortable with that. This will show us what internet address our NIC actually thinks has been assigned to it. So IP space A is an important command to know. The final thing I'll talk about in this video is installing packages. So packages are software packages that we can install on our Linux instance. And the first 4 commands, and I won't necessarily do all of them. Apt update will update the possible packages that we can install. Apt upgrade will go out and see if there's any new changes in our existing packages that need to be upgraded, and will prompt us to upgrade them. Apt install, followed by the package name, will actually install a package, and apt search will search for packages. So just a very quick overview of that. So if I do an apt search maybe for a program called filters, it will search for the available package list of anything that has the word filters in it, and we could scan through there and see which one that I want. If I find the one that I want, we could do apt install filters or whatever it might be. Now, we will tell you the packages that you need to install. And that is it for this video.